My audit staff has found many times that city agencies could be doing a much better job of making sure that outside organizations are delivering everything they agreed to according to the contract they have with the city.
Every year we do a risk assessment of city agencies to identify where risks might be likely to happen and where the impact might be the biggest. When we see the same issues occurring over and over, we are more likely to consider conducting an audit in that area.
Every audit is different in some respect, but many times there are common threads in our recommendations that any city agency would do well to review and potentially adopt.
The City and County of Denver is a massive organization. It has many different types of agencies, all kinds of different work that's happening every day. As a result of our audits and the issues that we research and share very widely, this keeps our work interesting for us, and I would say no two audits are exactly alike. But there are some common citywide concerns that we see over and over in different audits. One example of a recurring recommendation is the need for better oversight of third-party contracts. My audit staff has found many times where city agencies could be doing a better job. One example of this, we audited vendors at Willis Case Golf Course. We audited the vendor at the Buffalo Bill Museum. And we found that Parks and Recreation is really not monitoring these contracts as closely as they could to make sure that Denver is getting the right amount of revenue and was returned to the city. Our auditors found that the vendors were not keeping track of daily receipts correctly. There were opportunities for errors between what was actually sold and actually what went into the bank. Certainly things like segregation of duties could be better in organizations like that, but they do have a limited amount of staff, so I can understand that. The dollar amounts weren't high, but this really is indicative of a larger problem in parks where contractors have not been monitored as aggressively as they could be. I think another example of where city agencies could be monitoring third-party vendors better is the Westin Hotel at Denver International Airport. Denver International Airport takes in over $50 million a year from the Westin Hotel. We were not able to get access to the books and records at the Westin Hotel, as we should under city law, as we should be able to under the contract that Westin signed with the City and County of Denver. But what's probably as disturbing as anything is that I don't know how the airport determines that the $50 million is the right amount. I mean, maybe it should be $55 million. We don't know what Westin has charged against that revenue stream that may be out of compliance with the contract. Until we can see the books and records, we really can't say that they are in compliance with the contract. I think another example where contract monitoring is important, as everybody is aware, there's a lot of capital construction projects going on in Denver, certainly at the airport, the bond issue, the National Western Center, the Convention Center, the Denver Center for the Performing Arts. And one thing we're going to be doing is taking a look at compliance with those construction contracts to make sure that the contractor has delivered what they were supposed to deliver to the City and County of Denver. So we have looked at one particular construction contract. The company was called Halcyon, and they are subcontractors to the City and County of Denver. We identified instances where the monitoring and the documentation of work performed by subcontractors was either weak or didn't exist at all. We're going to continue to do these construction contracts in the future, certainly as the construction cycle ramps up. And it's important for city agencies to monitor third-party contracts to make sure that Denver is getting what it bargained for. Well, that's it for this episode of Ask the Auditor. If you have a question, you can submit it to auditor@denvergov.org, and maybe your question will be the next question we answer on the next episode of Ask the Auditor.